Hey everyone, thanks as always for stopping by. So recently I was invited to review an advanced reading copy of a book called We Can Do Better by David Goldbloom. He's a professor over there at the University of Toronto. If you want to watch my official book review, I'll have it linked in the end screen of this video. There were a number of ideas he brought up in this work though that I'd really like to respond to in the next several videos. In this one particularly, I wanted to talk about a point he made and how he addressed the changing landscape of the mental health industry overall. Being that it has undergone so much transformation over the years, it's easy to see it as an imperfect, perhaps even pseudoscientific discipline. Psychology, after all, still can't seem to shake its reputation as a soft science. And Goldbloom makes a brilliant analogy on this point I'd really like to share with you, so stay right there, all right? Alright peeps, so the analogy Professor Goldbloom opens his book with is a useful way of thinking about mental science and the psychiatric profession that's built upon it. He speaks about a trip he made to Barcelona, Spain, and his encounter with the Roman Catholic basilica, the Sagrada Familia. He captures his awe of the structure on the first page with an almost literary flair. As he approaches the building, he's obviously taken aback by just its sheer scope and scale. As he looks closer, though, he notices scaffolding that dots the exterior and inquires of a nearby aide what the reason for construction is. The local responds by explaining that it's been under construction since the year 1882 and will likely not be completed for another decade yet. Now you have to just stop and think about that for a moment. Yeah, sure, we've all heard of massive construction projects like this before. The Wall of China, for instance, took over 400 years to build. As I was writing the script for this video, my fiance was reminding me that I still haven't mounted our television in the living room yet. What can I say? Rome wasn't built in a day. Anyways, Professor Goldbloom draws attention to how things have changed around this building as a fixture within a bustling metropolis. He discusses how the main method of transportation at the time, when construction was started, was horse and buggy. By contrast, in our modern day, a high-speed train runs underneath the monstrosity. You also have to think not only about the evolution of the church's surroundings, but how the very materials and building methods have changed, utterly. Even though the church remains unfinished, you can see a mix of the old and the new, and he likens this to how things are in the mental health industry. It's a developing science. He says that we have an incomplete understanding of how to cope for mental illness sufferers. He also alludes to how the theories and treatments themselves are controversial and in a fluid state of transformation. One very prominent example of this is captured in the following excerpt from his book. It reads, "I came of age as a psychiatrist in 1985, when the field was in a state of a major change. A seismic shift had occurred when psychiatry turned its back on its heritage of psychoanalysis, still today the popular public perception of the discipline. As psychiatry made its somewhat delayed entry into the mainstream of scientific medicine, it was finally abandoning the long-held view of the origins of mental illnesses, namely that they could be primarily attributed to early childhood experience and faulty parenting. It was becoming increasingly clear that those traditionally endorsed views could no longer be propped up. We needed a new paradigm. A new direction meant new medical standards. Psychiatry had to create an entirely new common language to talk about mental illness," unquote. Now, all of this can leave one with a lack of confidence in the industry, but I believe his analogy should give people a way of thinking about mental health and mental science overall. Yeah, it's imperfect, sure, but how amazing it is that we have the kind of insights we do now. And throughout these dialogues that I'll be conducting on this book in the future, you'll hear about some really wonderful advancements that have been made in our understanding of the human mental condition overall, psychopharmacology, diagnosis, treatment, legislation, access, AI, and so many other improvements. Tell me what you think below in the comments of that analogy of the Sagrada Familia and the evolving face of the mental health industry. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more updates on the topic, and we'll see you in the next one, peeps. Cheers. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. We put up some incredibly transformative content on this channel. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.